Gaspard? Or could it be the 03 of Dustin Terry? 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. It could be the Gregory Law Firm, the number 52 of Rinker, the 17 of Anderson, or the 2 Rinkers at the end. What's going to happen? 20 seconds, drivers. You're under starters' orders. The 77 of Quindazi gets a solid jump there. A big miss by the number 96 of Merlou. And he's been having some issues. Whoa, the 20 of Rinker just chops the door on his teammate, the 52 of Chris Rinker, as they go down into the first turn. Clean turn, looks like there for that boat. And look at, here comes the 20 of Rinker. Boy, I thought it was going to be tough for those 2 Rinkers to get by the rest of the field, and they made short work of the rest of this group. Here is now the 70 Gaspard sitting in second, but he looks to his outside hip, and there is a giant yellow mean machine on his outside hip, and watch the 20 of Rinker just blow by the 70 Gaspard down the backstretch, and in his spray is the winner from heat number 1, the number 10 of Terry Rinker, that phase 3 performance machine. But it's all about Mike Quindazi right now. Is out front. Can he hold off the hard charging former champion and the reigning champion, as those two are going to slug it out, father and son, side by side down the front stretch? Who is going to have bragging rights going into Sunday qualifying after today's heat? Can Quindazi get a win under his belt here in Formula One? Has not taken a checkered flag yet in his career in Formula One, and could this be that moment in time where he finally finds that magic and gets his checkered flag? You can't win the series if you don't get the first checkered flag in a qualifying heat, and that's what he's looking to do first. Trying to establish that new baseline in that beautiful Composite Craft Buckshot Racing machine. But man, we got a battle for second and third. It's just a doozy between the number 10 of Terry Rinker and the 20 of Ashton Rinker. Here comes the 03 of Dustin Terry, as well as the 17 of Dylan Anderson starting to make his way up through the field. But look at that battle. I mean, we're talking a third of a boat length, not even. They are nose to tail going down the back straightaway. Ashton on the inside. Terry Rinker, the number 10 on the outside. Ashton presses him hard, pushes the 10 of Rinker out and through the way wide to that apex, but that could have been not the best of moves, as he had to scrub some speed going so tight to the inside. But he found that speed enough to hold off the 10 of Rinker as they make their way down to turn number 1. The 20 of Ashton Rinker on the inside. The number 10 of Terry Rinker on the outside, pushing hard in that first and second position, and they're starting to close the gap on the 77 of Quindazi, the man who started on the pole after taking out a buoy in turn number 1 that shuffled him all the way to the back of the dock. And to be honest, oh, look out there, this 20 of Ashton Rinker goes way wide to the outside, almost getting into the inside sponsor of the 10 of Terry Rinker. And he's letting him know, hey, don't think that you can crowd me, old man. He is pushing hard and fighting tooth and nail to hold him off as they go down into turn number 1. Down through turn number 1, now Rinker's starting to open up. He's got a boat length over the 10 of Terry Rinker. The golden boy, Ashton, and that Rinker Racing Products machine pushing hard as they start to close the gap now on the 77 of Quindazi. He better get that foot into the accelerator here as we hit this halfway mark. This is where in Group A, the 8 of Mayo made his move. He pounced right here at about the halfway mark. The question is will the same be true for the 20 of Ashton Rinker, or will there be just a little extra top end and a little bit more room between the 77 of Mike Quindazi and the 20 for the 77 of Quindazi to hold off? But Quindazi's way wide to the outside. What is he doing? He's giving the 20 of Rinker the line all the way inside. Now is he going to chop the door on him? He kind of leaves him a window, not a huge window, but if I'm Quindazi, I'm going pin to pin. I'm forcing Rinker to run me down from the outside, and I don't know if he likes that wide line or if it's more comfortable in that newer boat. Does the Composite Craft like the wider line? I don't really know. But I think there might have been a mistake in there, and that's really what's closed this gap here. But he maybe have had enough of a gap. Whoa, look at there, the 10 of Terry Rinker, that overhead shot from our great drone footage from our partners at Live Race Media. The 10 of Terry Rinker got a little squirrely, and you've got the 62 of Chris Fairchild here on the dock watching, because he's got a 1-2. If Rinker here goes 1-3, he's got the lead in qualifying for that top spot on the start pontoon in our main event going into tomorrow's final qualifying heat. As the 20 of Rinker and the 10 of Rinker keep fighting hard for second and third. There's the 77 of Quindazi, and the harder the two Rinkers fight with one another, the better it is for the 77 of Quindazi. And here comes Rinker moving wide to the outside. He's way wide. They're on on the hips of the 77 of Quindazi. They've got some clean line. Now the 20 of Ashton Rinker is going to have to push him outside. He's like, get out of my way. I've got the inside line. I got the overtake, but here goes Terry. The Phase 3 Performance Machines now got him side by side. And that might be all she wrote. See you, son. Have a good one, Have a good one. Your old man just showed you how to roll in a tunnel boat, my friend. And the 10 of Terry Rinker walks by the Golden Boy down in turn number 1 and moves himself up into second. But with 56 seconds plus 1 lap, can Mike Quindazi hold off the number 10 of Terry Rinker? That is a tall order, and this is not what Chris Fairchild wanted, because now they're sitting even. The real question is if Rinker catches him, now he leapfrogs Fairchild into that number 1 position for the overall qualifying going into our final heat tomorrow. But boy, it looks like Quindazi might have a shot to pull this thing off here. And honestly, for a guy who's had his own bad luck, he's had some really unfortunate events happen in his early on in his racing career in some different classes that we don't need to get into. But boy, this would be huge for the 77 of Mike Quindazi and Buckshot Racing. They make their own props out down in Florida after moving from Arizona. They're called the Buckshot Cleaver, and he's pushing hard. And here you go fast, turn left, just 4 more times, young man. Will we see another first time qualifying heat winner in Mike Quindazi here with that brand new composite craft? But nipping on his heels is the 10 of Terry Rinker. Quindazi cut it real tight there to that buoy on turn number 1. He better not pop a buoy in the final 2 laps. But look at, here comes the 17. They're pushing hard. Looks like the 17 of Anderson has started to creep up a little bit more. I don't know if he's going to have enough time, though. But ladies and gentlemen, let me hear you put a big round of applause together, taking the checkered flag in qualifying heat number 2. Running for Buckshot Racing, number 77, Mike Quindazi. And then rounding out the top 3, a couple of names we're very familiar with, the number 10 of Terry Rinker, as well as the number 20 of Ashton Rinker. So what does that mean? That means Chris Fairchild will be number 1 or number 2, depending on elapsed time, going into our final qualifying heat. And boy, what a run that was for Quindazi. The rest of the field looks like this. Dylan Anderson couldn't catch Ashton Rinker. He finished in 4th. He was able to get by the number 03 of Dustin Terry, who finished in 5th. Then the 52 of Chris Rinker, the 96 of Jimmy Merleau, the 70 of Jude Gaspard, and the 74 Barletta Boats.